Right, I didn't manage to do a video at the end of last week, but now we're kind of like near the beginning of the next week. So I thought I just want to catch up. I need to get my thoughts off my chest, and I think that it adds another dimension putting this stuff onto video, onto it, so people can see the trials and tribulations of Dr. Mike Mew as he tries to change the world. And I'm alienated by the world and everyone, really. So it's tough. Okay, it's more than 6 months since Dad died. God, I miss him. I really do. There's so much I didn't do, and of course, all of those things I didn't do. I'm going through all of his old records that I've got stored up in the attic, and I'd love to ask him questions about this, questions about that. However, I went to a wedding, and someone really reinforced in me how much I had done with him and how much I'd helped him. If it wasn't for me, he would have been a he'd be on his own, be a lonely old man with these ideas in his head, and who would have followed him. I invigorated him, and I think a lot of people who kind of look up to my father don't know how much of him was me, how much I supported, I advanced his ideas. A lot of his ideas in the latter half of his life were probably stimulated by me. It was my idea to make a castle. Okay, that whole thing, that whole project, that was me who wanted it done. Shame we'll have to sell it. There's no way around that, really. And of course, no way around that, really, because, well, I was hoping for plan B. I was hoping to make enough money to be able to hold on to it. But it's we're realizing how crazy expensive it is to do it. I've got to go back there and literally 5 minutes, do this, head down, get the Arga, one of the Argas are old sort of big lump of metal you keep hot burning in it. It's a traditional English cooking. We ran out of oil. It's broken. We've tried numerous attempts to get it going ourselves. I've got a professional coming down, and I'll sit there with him. We'll work it. We'll get it going again. And it's just one thing, apart from the leaky roofs, apart from all the work around the grounds around it. There's a load of work needs doing. It's been raining. Ditches need digging out, fields need cutting, trees need maintenance, the lake's silting up. A huge amount to do. And of course, then I got landed this tax bill for 16 grand. I'm already in debt, not as much, but it's crazy. Help. What do I do in this situation? But we just got to the point where we were above water. Now my wife's gone out to work, and then you get a tax bill and you're thinking, God, I'm so far away from where we are. We're more meetings going on with the Mewing apps. I think we're going to narrow that down. It's one thing to have all the information in your head, one thing to be this academically, I have the knowledge. It's another thing to make things that people are going to want to buy and can gain help from. And so that we're focusing on that project. So hopefully that will go. And then, I've got all these big ideas, but you need money to do it. And I'm in a hole, and taking on the castle it's not going to happen right now until we're going to have to sell it. And that, that's going to break my heart, because I always wanted a castle. That was one of my childhood dreams. That's why I got Dad to do it. Then we're about to start the big orthotropic project, and the orthotropic project is to get me interviewing all the key players, because literally me and Dad, we had these ideas, and there's a second generation in this project. I know it was 3 generations of our family getting there, but Dad had most of the ideas, and being a second generation, I could reflect on them and put them together and organize them. And I helped Dad crystallize the direction he was going in. And I can see the breadth. Dad didn't. He wasn't going to be multidisciplinary. I can understand the importance of multidisciplinary and how those disciplines are thinking and looking at the central same project all around the core problem. I call it craniofacial dystrophy. And I want to there's so many people have offered to volunteer. So many people realize they're a problem and want to move forward. And what I've got to do is, as a disorganized person, try to get them all organized onto a single project. This will be interesting. Let's see where I go with this. And of course, then I want to focus that around me interviewing people, getting other people to say the things I'm thinking in their own words and from their perspectives, because I think that will add a lot of value. And then getting the volunteers to help push this message out there, because I think that with a well-organized group, we could really gain that gain that change with the central idea of, well, we need to understand the cause of the problem and the pathology of the problem, because that's how medicine works. That's a scientific process. But of course, all of this, when you're sitting here kind of alienated from all fronts, I have to believe in myself. And that's a really, really hard thing to do. Anyway, we're waiting for the court case. It's going to come out. The results should come out anywhere probably, well, we've been promised late Feb, early March by the justice at the High Court. My barrister, I think that's very unlikely. He's optimistic, considering the supplemental bundle. So the first bundle is their argument, our argument. And then you have the supplemental bundle with all of the base information, everything from the last court case. That's 8,020 pages long. So, and he's a good justice. We put a good argument. I think we've gave it the best shot. You know, again, I've got to believe in myself. I've got to believe. Do I have a plan B? I don't know. And then, of course, it's if I get cleared, and of course, well, the result might come out in March to May, but if it's going to be a positive result, if it's totally positive, I just get a letter saying, yeah, you let off everything. If it's a negative result, I get a letter saying, look, everything stands. But everything in between, we're going to have to go back to the High Court. Remember, High Court doesn't have rules. It's the High Court. And then we have to argue the fine detail between those two options, where between those two options I will lie. Now, clearly, if we go back to the High Court, I'm going to be awarded costs. However, the legal team, my legal team, they'll probably eat most of those costs up. So I'm not going to get back much probably from that. And of course, that's also delay, because until I can start doing consultations, which will bring in income, and then I can use, all this time I trained as a dentist, then I trained as an orthodontist. I've been around the world learning. I learned from my father. I'm very skilled, I believe, in one thing. At the moment, it's illegal for me to do that one thing. That's tough. And that really, then you think, how many people are asking me for consultations all the time? If I don't have a big number of staff, I could make good money. I could make a very nice income from that, but I can't do it. And if I don't get my license back, I won't be able to do it. I think there's an option 10 years later, you can get your license back. But if I lose the court case, I'm going to have to eat humble pie and say, oh yes, it was all nonsense. Anyway, there we go.